All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Liquid Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Karl Meisterheim. And with me, as always, is the recently got a haircut Taylor Page.
It's so recent, like in the
Really?
last 2 hours.
I was
I
going to
cut my
say,
own hair,
looks,
so.
what's the expression? You look really tight. Is that what they say?
Ooh, do they say that? I
I
look
think
tight.
so.
Thank you. Is that?
So, or the hair looks tight. I don't know. Something like that.
I don't know. Unfortunately. So
Well,
that's.
you
I
look
believe
well
you, and I
shorn.
appreciate it. I understand the sentiment, so thank you. It is short, yes. That's the. Every now and again, I just kind of like, I've got 10, 15 minutes. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut my hair real fast.
Oh, that's right. You do it yourself. That's so weird.
Yeah, yeah. I got
You're
done
like
working out at the gym. Came home, we had breakfast, sent the kids off, and then cut my hair and had a shower and popped on here. So very recent.
amazing. Before agentic AI, this man was doing things himself with tools.
Have you seen the AI robot or whatever that some guy built to cut his hair?
Oh, no.
Like that would scare me so much.
Yeah. Does it
Give it,
work?
I mean, to a degree. I don't know if it was like obviously not as good as going to a barber or something like that, but I'm also not cutting my hair as good as going to a barber, so it's good enough for government work. I had a buddy that used to say that all the time.
Yeah. I know everyone, the three people listening to this right now are going to groan when I ask this because they don't want us to get off track per se. But um, do you use a mirror when you cut your own hair? Tell me a little bit about the process. I'm
This
fascinated. I just can't
yeah,
imagine like just
Yeah, no, I mean, I do use a mirror, yes. That's if it's not apparent, that's a little bit hurtful. No, that's
well, I can't see the
yeah, I
back.
yeah, I use a yeah. You can use your mirror in a phone, like kind of like, put it behind you or whatever kind of type thing to make sure it's all level. Or I asked my wife too, like, hey, like, is this? It's not like
Oh,
this in the back
so
or
you don't really
anything.
do it by yourself after all. Okay.
That's
Well,
well,
bold
you got to
claims.
have somebody do QA, man. That's just a thing. So no, but I use I don't use like scissors or anything. I use just the beard
The
trimmer, the
Flowbee
buzzer, the clippers, whatever you call them or whatever kind of type thing. And I just
trimmers.
you go through a couple of different guards to get the different lengths going, and um, yeah, just
Yeah. Oh,
when
it
you cut
looks
the same
great.
hair for I've done this since college. I bought I picked this as a pick at one point, the clippers and stuff, and so I've had the same pair of clippers since college. And I give my wife grief about it every single time she pays a lot of money for a haircut because I'm like, just think of all the money that we've saved over the years from me
Well,
cutting my hair. So,
it's
but I'm cheap.
different, I think, with long hair.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
here's the real thing, going back to your picks. What you got to do is you got to cut your own hair, and then you
Mm.
got to use your drive-through car wash subscription to go to the car
Ooh,
wash and
we know.
rinse it off. Just skip the shower entirely. Just, bang for the buck.
That would be a lot of bang for the buck, but that's yeah. I'm gonna pass on that one. I'm gonna still just old school
Yeah.
caveman showered. Apparently, I'm not part of the new future
Well,
yet of finishing off in the car wash there yet.
if AI takes your job, at least you've got a fallback career.
There you go. That's perfect. Yes.
Tell that
Yes. As long
robot
as they
I'm
want
just
this haircut, this is the only thing I
that's
can
right.
do. So,
The
or a
Taylor
buzz.
special.
Anybody can do a buzz cut. So,
Right. Any style as long as it's this one.
that's right. Yes. I would have two pictures, like you're bald or this one.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
But what's
Taylor,
been going on with you? That's obviously I'm,
well,
looking.
let's just point out the
Yeah,
elephant in the room, which is there's no one else in the room. It's just you and I today, buddy.
just you and me. Just you
Just
and
the
me.
two of
Yes,
us
sir.
flying solo today, which is the way we intended it always to be. Then we found out we have lots of great friends we wanted to talk to, and so we did that too. But it's nice to have some time just to catch up, you and me.
It is. We've got a lot of good stuff. I am very excited about the people that we're getting some dates nailed down for
Yeah,
though. So that's
lots of
very
good things
exciting
coming
for
up.
me. So, but
And
it
don't
is.
you worry, dear listener, we are going to talk about Shopify here shortly. In fact,
Yeah, we will. Yeah,
right
don't
now.
worry. We'll do the little chapter so you can skip over this stuff. So,
We should make an AI that just takes our podcast and strips out all the non-Shopify junk for people.
ooh, should we
We'd end
do?
up
Yeah,
like
we
with
should just
5 minute
do
episodes.
yeah, the Liquid Weekly podcast like impersonal, and it's just
That's right.
all like just the straight Shopify stuff, like nothing about us bantering back and forth. So,
That's where the world's heading. Um, yeah, so let's see what's going on with me. Personal life. I've got one, barely, still.
barely, but still.
I continue my battle against the forces of nature. I think every time we talk about stuff like this, I always talk about something to do with water, something to do with my house. And so I've been battling that. I won't get too far into that story because it does touch on my pick of the week, which will come up at the third half of our show. Suffice to say, the other day we had a pretty heavy downpour. We're getting a lot of those pop-up storms this summer where it just like unleashes 2 inches of water in an area in like an hour.
It's
And I
rained
was
here
watching
so
it.
much this year.
Yeah,
Like it totally screwed our plans for a camping trip next week. It's ridiculous.
I'm sure
All
your
this
wife is
rain.
very upset about that.
She.
Yeah. Anyway, I was watching the rain. Actually, I make a point if it's not lightning, I go out in the rain and walk around the house, just
Oh,
check on stuff.
yeah,
You
yeah,
never
yeah.
know if a gutter's clogged or whatnot, and
Sure.
this has something to do with my personality, I'm sure. And I was noticing, like, wow, there's an awful lot of rain where there shouldn't be rain, and I'll explain more about that later. But so that was something I've
Mm.
been doing, and I think I've been successful. So waiting for another big storm, and we'll validate my conclusion about that. And then another
Nice.
thing is, well, I got a lot of kids today. Sorry about that. Um, we have a lot of information floating around about AI, people doing amazing things. I think it's always been this way if you're in social, like everyone's doing amazing things all the time. It's easy just to feel completely overwhelmed or completely like you're falling behind in your own
Mm.
projects, right?
Yes.
That FOMO, all that kind of stuff. I should be doing more.
Yes.
I'm sitting here trying to write a simple script. It's not working. People are building AI hair cutting robots. And so what I have found that's been really helpful for me personally is I've been actually watching slash rewatching Silicon Valley, the HBO show from 10 years ago or whatever it last was on.
Oh, okay. I've never
You're
seen it.
familiar?
It's good? No, uh-uh.
It's crass. I mean, so if you're looking for a wholesome family entertainment, this would not be
It's crass,
it.
so don't.
But I feel
Thanks for
like
the warning.
watching it, you're welcome. It really helped alleviate a lot of that for me because you just realize just how crazy this whole world is in terms of the industry we're in, especially when you get into like that area of it. Um,
Yes.
it's like, oh, you know what? At the end of the day, this stuff is important, really. And as long as you got your family, you got your health, you're grounded, um, there's always going to be something amazing happening out there that you're not doing or feel left out of. And so you just kind of have to realize that people, it's just part of how they work. And it's okay not to be in that space.
Yeah, 100%. Have you seen, so you know who has a good post about this? Is Karl. He had a great post about this. Have you seen that
Yeah, I
one?
did a
Just like
couple
that
weeks ago.
comparison
I thought
trap
you were going
in
to say
social media.
yourself for a second there.
No, I
You know.
You know who has a superb resource for just this thing, Karl? No, so he had a great book, which is always helpful for me. I think of you, obviously, firstly,
Well, yeah.
Harshdeep, Kirill, all these people, they're just like super smart. And anytime that
Oh,
somebody shares information about like, hey, this happens to me too, that to me is very enlightening, encouraging, or what
yeah.
have you. So we'll put that in the show notes too. But Kirill has a great recently, just this comparison trap in social media, and one of those things that happens all across everything, right? It's not just like us as web developers, like other people have this happen in other aspects of their lives too. Other people are more fit or more wealthy or whatever. Um, so I think it's a tough thing when we live in a world where you get inundated with everybody's wins and everything's marketing and fluff, everything's hype, right? So
Yeah.
um, yeah,
It,
I
I
understand
think
that.
think back to the way the world used to work and how humans were expected to work, right? Like the amount of
Mm,
change. I mean, people have talked about this I'm not bringing anything new to this conversation, but 100 years ago, 200 years ago, you would find some kind of career. Most likely it was farming, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe you're a craftsman, right? And so then
mm,
you're doing whatever craftsman thing you do, but it's the same thing every year.
yeah.
Like
Hmm.
you just
Yeah.
improve your technique. I'm sure you learn some tips, do it better, but it's not like this brand new thing comes out that you have to suddenly figure out how to adopt or learn, right?
Yeah.
But that's like this every month, every week
Hmm.
almost. It's crazy. We're not made to function like this.
It's really interesting because so my wife and I talk about this kind of a topic pretty regularly. Obviously, because like and you're trying to figure out what's best for your kids, and in addition to just you, right? Like when you have kids and you're trying to think about this, but we talk about this kind of in the context of anxiety, where you're anxious about trying to keep up or do enough, and this, that, and the other. And there was a famous psychologist, the name escapes me or whatever, but he had
Was
talked
it
about a future
Taylor?
where there were no, not me again. When like this was years and years ago when people didn't have to worry about bears. So this was far enough back, like the very early days of psychology, where people starting to understand, this as a science or what have you. But they talked about like understanding like anxiety and stuff like this about how they hypothesize one of these days when the world is rid of bears, where you would go about the world is civilized enough that you're not worried about a bear attack happening because you're not living out in the woods and having to go from place to place, whatever, to get supplies or whatever. But people would not experience anxiety anymore because bears would no longer be a problem. And it's like there's more anxiety now than there were, and nobody's worried about bears at all. We
Well,
just
now
have all
I
these other
am.
things we're anxious about. So yeah, now you are, right? Like that's. Anyways, I
Yeah.
thought that was we've talked about how that's really interesting. That's everything from this basic premise of like safety and security. You're worried about getting mauled by a bear to now you're just worried about keeping up, and so that is much more accessible to everybody in every sphere than something as wild as a bear attack. So
And the excuses are
yeah.
gone, right? It used to be like, I'm not going to do that because I never attended that particular program or that school. I never got into that particular thing. When I get all the resources, there's no excuse to not learn something
Hmm.
because, anyway,
Yep.
just depressed myself. Thanks, Taylor. I'm gonna go
Whoa,
find a
hey,
bear,
first of all,
give it a
this was
hug,
your
give
topic.
bear a
I
hug.
was talking about the
No,
positives here, and
no,
so
lots of positives. Well, that's the other thing too. Okay, so on the corollary, I think I used that word right. My son has been making musical instruments and learning old-time
awesome,
fiddle
yeah.
tunes. He's
Okay,
12.
yeah.
And, he's just doing great. And part of it is I think he's got some natural talent, but part of it is he can get online and like listen to all these songs from 200 years ago. He can watch
Hmm.
videos about different things and learn these techniques, right? He doesn't have
Yeah,
anyone instructing him. He's just picking it up. That's pretty cool. So I
yeah, that's
appreciate that about
amazing.
where we live.
Yeah, just having like information from every different
Yeah.
discipline immediately accessible to you. It's incredible.
Anywho, that's my personal life. I'll skip work here for a second. Let's hear about your personal life.
Yeah, personal
People
life.
care.
So I already referenced this, but I'm bemoaning how
Yeah.
annoyed I am about not getting to go camping because of all this
Tell me
rain.
about this. This sounds like it's really impacted you.
So we're pivoting here a little bit. We found this state park last year that we really liked in Ohio, Maumee Bay State Park. It's up by
Yeah,
Toledo area.
I've been there.
Okay, like
Great
really
hotel.
beautiful park. Uh, Hotel, and all these bike paths, and like it was like something out of a movie the first time we went because it was starting to be like sunset time, and you're riding around this bike path. We're trying to find where the beach is, and you're riding around
By
this
the
bike path.
water.
You come around this like woods covered trail, and all of a sudden it like just opens up into like the sun setting over like Lake Erie and stuff or whatever, and it was just very picturesque. And like, oh man, this place is amazing. So we really liked it. We had a great time there. My wife ran a duathlon there last year, and she got like second place in her division. She hasn't like ever done anything like any kind of race like that, and she does this and she gets second place. I was like, what the heck, man? Like, it's working my butt off for over a year at these sprint tries, and I'm just trying to get in the top like three here, or whatever. So, anyways, great park and all this other stuff or whatever. But all this rain, we were just like, I don't want to like go. I like camping, but I don't like camping in the rain. Like, who does? So we canceled that, but we're still gonna go. This was all built around once a year we do this big Christmas in July trip with my kids. So we go up to Michigan. They have that big Christmas store, Bronner's in Frankenmuth area,
Yeah.
and so I did this a lot when I was a kid too. We would go. That would be part of the annual trip to visit my grandparents when I was a kid because my grandparents lived in a town that was like on the way. So we would meet there, eat a little pizza place that's like local or whatever, and then we'd go to this Christmas shop, and it was a whole thing. So now I get to do that with my kids, and it's fun. Um, so we're gonna do that, and so kind of saving a little bit, but I'm disappointed about it still. So um,
Sounds like you really wanted to sleep on the ground. Sorry, man.
yeah, I just
It's rough.
I did, yes, so much so. You know how much I love that. Whatever. We don't sleep on the ground when we go camping. I just picked that tent, but we go with a whole like queen size air mattress. Like my wife is not like about the sleeping on the ground in a sleeping bag kind of type thing, which is okay. It's probably good. I tease her about it, but I'm also probably like, this is great. So, but yeah, so we're doing that, getting ready for my wife and I are celebrating our 15th wedding anniversary here this year, and so
So
we're
young.
we're doing the big thing, going to Barcelona, Spain. We've never done anything like that for an anniversary before, so that's very exciting. So probably by the time this is out, I think we'll be in Spain, maybe.
I'm
Oh
pretty
no,
quick at editing, so
getting
I
ready
might.
to go to Spain. So yeah,
What do you do with
it'll
the
be fun.
kids?
They are staying. So one of the reasons we moved back to Ohio was to obviously be close to family. My wife is one of 8 kids. I can't remember if we've talked about this before. And so they're all married and had kids, and they all live in the area. And so every family function is 40 plus people. It's a very large family, a lot of fun. And so they are staying with one of their at one of their aunts and uncles' houses, and they have like a whole week planned. Like it's one of those things. They're like the fun aunt and uncle, and so they have kids that are teenagers and they're older, and so their kids are off doing their own things now. So now they're like, oh sweet, we have the like the little kids, and we get to do the little kid things with them again. So they're gonna, they've got all this stuff planned. They're gonna take them out on their boat. Like they're gonna take them to Cedar Point. They're gonna go
Oh,
blah 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 blah
jeez.
blah. And so our kids just keep asking like, when are you guys leaving? That's
That
all
sounds
they
pretty
want
cool.
to know. Like you guys need. Can you go ahead and leave now so we can go? So that stings a little bit, but it'll be good.
But they'll miss you when you come back.
No, yeah, no, they'll be like, when can you guys leave again? That was the last time that we got to do that. Um, so yeah, we'll see. Hopefully my wife fares okay. She's never been away from the kids for that long of a time
Oh.
before, so I'm a little concerned about how she's going to handle that. But hopefully we just have
She'll be
a lot
with
of fun.
you. I mean, you'll meet her every need. How could she possibly miss anyone else?
It's hard to compete with kids, man. Um,
Well, and here's the real trick. Are you gonna do the whole like, oh, we'll FaceTime you and catch up kind of thing? Or are you just gonna rip the band-aid off and go cold turkey and see them when you get back?
well, we'll definitely FaceTime. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
that we'll FaceTime every day. Like, but it's yeah, I just don't see her making it that long. I don't know. Every time I've done a long trip too, I've done quick calls at least to like check in or whatever. So, but there's a
Yeah.
time difference too. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But
That's the
so
thing that
there's
really messed me up. Time
oh really?
differences. Well, just a
Okay.
little anecdote. So there was this
Yeah.
show. I say it was on PBS. It might not have been. I don't remember. It's about some kids, and they had this ability to like teleport.
Okay.
And there were these people that were trying to figure out who these kids were because they wanted to grab them, like study them, kind of thing, and figure out their power.
This was a show or a movie?
This is a show, TV show. It was like
Okay.
episodic. Anyway, and so that was like had this amazing thing. I could just like bloop bloop. And there's somewhere else, right? And so I
Yeah.
thought that would be amazing. I really wish I could do that. And then I was thinking about it later. I was like, you know what? If you did that, you still get jet lagged. That's terrible. Anyway, so
He would
I'm
still
sorry.
get jet lagged
Yeah, because
if you're
it's different time
teleporting
zones. So
around.
you suddenly be in Barcelona, but it's like ten
That's
o'clock
true.
at
Yeah,
night.
your body would never have the time to adjust. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Okay.
oh,
Okay. Okay.
it
I got you.
sucks.
I got you.
Oh
I'm just trying to play catch up here with you. So that's
I'll
all.
find the show.
I
Maybe
was trying to think of
put
the
the show notes.
well, the movie. There's a movie like this. I am
I'm
number
sure.
four. Is that one?
Oh, no, no. It was a kids show. Very much a
Oh,
campy
this
kids
was not
show.
a kid show. This was not a kid show.
I remember.
I'll
I don't
find
know.
this. Where but these people could teleport. Same thing. They were trying to capture him so they could study him,
Oh,
kind of type
they
thing. It
look
was
like hot teens. That's not at all I was going for.
a
Oh, I'm a teenager and I have angst, but I can teleport. Okay, yeah.
I can teleport. So
I'm sure
while
it's a
you
good movie.
find that, other
I'm
fun
not.
personal thing I got to do recently that was outside and one of your, least favorite things, outside and running. But I got to go run up at Cuyahoga Valley National Park with Dylan Pierce.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just getting to hang out
What'd you
with Dylan.
think?
So Dylan runs a Shopify app. What's that?
Well, okay. I'll just let you talk. I want to know what you thought of the Hark. Dylan, I want to know about too. So you go forward. I'll shut up.
That's great questions. I didn't want to miss anything, but so getting to run with Dylan was fun. He's up in Cleveland area, and so we kind of like met. It was kind of like the halfway point kind of type thing. So there's lots of trails up there. So I know you do enjoy the occasional hike. Not necessarily. Which when I say run, we did a trail run, and obviously it was not very fast or anything. But at a certain point, I was like, man, I wish like I was recording this for the podcast, dude, because there's a lot of good stuff in there. So I don't know. We'll have to convince him to come on at some point or whatever, but he's got a cool background in some of the things, and he obviously he's also a very smart dude. So just getting to chat with him about some of the things that he's doing or looking forward to or how he's using different tools and stuff was really fun too. So we did run, but it was more of a like, we're jogging and still chit chatting back and forth the whole time. So but he has a Shopify app too, a couple of Shopify apps, and he also had recently used Gadget as well. So he had some thoughts about like how to use Gadget and what it's good for, and things to watch out for and stuff like this or whatever that I thought was really valuable and insightful as well. So that was really helpful because I also have been looking at Gadget and playing around with it a bit recently. So yeah, lots of good stuff there.
That sounds pretty amazing. So would you go back just to hike?
Go back just to would I go? Yes, I would go back just to hike. We did a trail out by the Brandywine Trail. Brandywine
Mm.
Falls
Heard of
Trail,
it.
I think it is. There's an actual trail, but took a picture of the falls and stuff too. It's very nice, and stuff like that. It wouldn't be. It's a small enough loop that and it wasn't very difficult, obviously, because we were jogging
So
it.
good in
That it'd
shape.
be an
Right.
okay one to take the kids to. Like it wasn't like a hard height, like a difficult. You're not climbing over stuff or anything. So, and it was really nice. So yeah,
I
I'd
always
recommend
wondered
it. It'd be
about
a good
that
place.
trail if it was named that after the Brandywine River in The Hobbit, or I'm sorry, in Lord of the Rings, Tolkien's world, really, or if it was just happenstance.
I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting. They also have a towpath up there that runs alongside the canal. That is supposed to be pretty cool. It runs a pretty significant distance too, so that would be of interest as well.
So if you want like
And
tow a boat, you could do it there.
yeah, I don't know if you wanted to do that. That's
That'd
what
be a
they
good
used to do,
workout.
I guess. So yeah, like they used to hook up like horses or mules or something like that, and then they'd
Forget your
have them
weighted
pull the
vest,
boat
man.
down.
Just pull a barge up and down that canal. You'd be so swole.
We could do it. We could do it. That's and then we'll take turns. I'll swash out and I'll get in the boat and you can pull.
No, I'm gonna steer the boat. You're gonna pull.
Somebody needs to steer the boat. He also
Yeah.
told me there's a much larger trail, the Buckeye Trail, that does like the whole
Mm-hmm.
state. Like, I don't know. I've not heard of that. I've not seen
The
that trail.
trail is maybe being generous.
Okay.
Portions of it are, shall we say, along the side of a road, perhaps, things like that. But yeah, there is
Gotcha. But there's a way for
semi-contiguous.
you to basically get from one end of the state to the other, just
I think it
doing
goes
this
from the northeast
trail.
corner down to the southwest corner. Yeah,
Okay, cool. That would be
I've
really
hiked it.
interesting. You've hiked it? Like the
Well,
whole thing? Or just part of it?
Taylor, there's lots you don't know about me. Just part
There
of
is
it.
lots I don't know about you.
So like it often overlaps other trails. So a couple places down in Zanesville, I was at a place that it went through there. And then at Hocking Hills, I was at a place, and it was the trails double purpose kind of things.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, I've heard of people like biking it. Is it possible to bike it? Like, no,
Not
no.
the whole thing. There's other bike trails that aren't the Buckeye Trail. Like you can
Okay.
bike the same thing. You can go from Cincinnati basically all the way up to Cleveland, I think.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. Very
Oh, what
cool.
about you?
For those of you that have not, like, Ohio is such like a long state when you do that. Like from me, where I'm at in Ashland, I think it's a 3 hour drive to Cincinnati. Like it's so interesting when you're talking to other people from different countries, and I'm like, I could drive like 3 hours in almost any direction and still be in Ohio, and people just not realizing just how big it is. Versus in other places, like you drive 3 hours, like you're in another country. You might be in like your second country by then, kind of type thing even too. So
Well,
that's really interesting.
some might say that driving to certain parts of Ohio is like driving to another country.
Definitely,
Kind of
definitely. There's places. There's it always. So where I'm at, we've
Amish
talked about
country.
this. There's Amish country. As I say, like there are people that are very taken aback by like, what is this? Like, why are there horses pulling carts out here in the Walmart parking lot?
The backup, just in
It's just
case
like
we.
that happens, man. It's what it is. So,
Yeah,
that's yeah. So, but anyways, that's probably a significant amount of personal stuff. Should we start talking about work? Like at
I
a
think
certain point?
so.
Like, because we
People are
do
getting antsy.
we do work actually. Like we both have jobs where we help
Well,
support people on Shopify
I have a
with
job,
you know intermittent success. You have a job. I have a
career.
what do you call it when you the career? You- I'm an entrepreneur.
That's right.
Is that the nice way of saying you're unemployed? It's
That's
just
right.
like no, that's it is fun. But anyways, so Shopify specific stuff. I've been talking for a
Yeah.
minute. How's the app coming along?
Thanks for asking. So yeah, I'm
Good.
working on an app. Been collaborating with my good friend Kurt over there at EtherCycle, and it's coming along. So we're working on it for what feels like an embarrassingly long amount of time, but I really feel like we're in the end game now. So it's a free gift with purchase kind of app where you can
Hmm.
define triggers and things happen, get added to the cart. My focus was originally getting it just kind of to an MVP state where you could basically do like one sort of way of doing this. But long story short, I ended up implementing all the things recently, and I think they all work. Like I've been asking people, does this work? And no one said it hasn't. Doesn't work yet. That's good.
And you will hear when it doesn't work.
We've got some
So
beta testers using it. We had to get it listed. Well, I had to get it approved first. It's
right.
unlisted currently, but that way we can distribute it to beta testers that Kurt's lining up. But essentially now, the cool things about it is it supports both product and price triggers, so you can determine how
Nice.
you want the thing to trigger. And then we also support multiple campaigns. so you can run multiple campaigns at once, uh,
Now, if
which
you
is
had to set
nice.
up controls like you were talking, and that was kind of like the difficulty of a lot of this stuff is like you start to get into this logic of like when you do and don't want certain things to happen because it's like, okay, great. Like discounts is the same way that I think about this or whatever. It's like, okay, great. Like we've hit a certain cart value, but then all of a sudden somebody adds a certain amount of products as well in addition to the cart value. So like, do you make them compatible with each other or do they duke each other out? Like, do you
When
have
you
to like
say pro
put in controls here for that to keep that from happening?
when you say products, you mean like products that would trigger additional discounts?
Yeah, so like, in some instances people have like with these free gift with purchase, right? Like you have, oh, if you buy 4 of this kind of product or something like that, then like we want to give you like a free gift with purchase. But also like we also have a cart promotion for if you spend more than, $75, we're going to give you this. But like if you use the items to then build up, that, are they going to get two different things or whatever? You know what I mean? Like if maybe I'm doing a poor job explaining here.
Yeah, well, I did run into that. Um, what I think I came to the conclusion of was at the end of the day, like the merchant could do things that are wackadoodle.
Wackadoodle.
And there's only so much you can do to protect them from that, right? Like at
Right.
some point you just have to think, like, do you know what you're doing here, right? This is gonna be crazy, but if you want to do it, like there's no reason you couldn't on a technical level do it this way. So it's kind of the approach I think I've adopted, which is we can allow it to happen, and so they'll cascade. So
Hmm.
let's say 3 different conditions trigger for 3 different discounts.
Yeah.
We just make it possible for all that to happen, and then you could define on each discount whether it combines with or not, so you can
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So
The combines with option, I think, is a good ticket there, or instances where, yeah, you've got some kind of a flag for them when they're building it.
yeah,
Because it's the same thing when you're like doing services, but like I think the hard thing about building a more generalized product that more people can use is like you have to account for all of these specific use cases versus when I'm building something in for services and they're like, hey, like we have this one random edge case scenario where this happens with something
yeah.
that we built. It's like, okay, great, I'll just fix it. Like, but if you have more merchants, you have so many more of these little instances where that happens, right?
Yep. So we'll see. I think we're getting close with that. We're doing a little bit of UX refreshment right now. Um, and
I
then
saw Kurt post about the one of
yeah,
the other apps for the listing. So that's the U by the UX. Are you talking about the app itself, or are you talking about just like the listing?
the app. Well, both.
Both.
We've
Okay.
got people that are helping Kurt with improving the app listing itself, and then there's another guy that works at ETHCycle, Tom, who is working on the UX, making it look nice and pretty. Because I
Nice.
if you've been to my house or seen me dress, I don't really have much of what we would call a design aesthetic. Um, Cluttered,
Yeah.
I think, is what I go
Leave the
for.
design to the designers.
Lived in.
I'm
Yeah,
about that. So totally get that. And I saw, yeah, Deb, I think was the one
yeah.
helping out with
Mhm.
the listing for the Shopify app, Deb
So
Mecca. So she's awesome. We should probably have her on at some point if she'd be willing to come on and talk about stuff.
for
She's
sure.
got so many good ideas.
So
Very
one
awesome
interesting
person.
technical tidbit, I'm just moving forward here. Technical, it's my time, is webhooks. So one of the things I wanted to account for was if the free gift or if it's a product trigger, the product trigger, if either of those becomes no longer available,
Hmm.
wanting to be able to handle that and know about that and update that in advance, right? And so the obvious choice is, well, just listen to webhooks and ingest those. And if you find the product that you're interested in and it's no longer available, just they can update your code. Fine. So that's what I'm doing right now. But I'm starting to
Hmm.
wonder if that's like the worst way to do it in terms of like that's just going to generate potentially a ton of webhook traffic for very little gain. So I'm considering maybe switching to a polling method instead, where I maybe have a job that runs every 30 minutes or every hour or something. And based on the IDs that I know from my end of things that I'm concerned about, getting the results for if those have changed versus getting every single update. I heard somewhere too, someone talk about webhook filtering. I don't know if I could look into that. I haven't done that much, but maybe
Yes,
there's a way to
webhook
only get
filtering
the
was a big
webhooks.
deal. Yeah,
Yeah,
people are all
I don't know
about
much
that
about it.
mess.
Tell me about it.
Well, I
What's
mean,
your
just
answer?
I don't know. From a very high level, I was playing around with this a little bit with. So what I was doing, for instance, when I was I'm working on this like rental app still for an infinite amount of time. And no, I'm not a guru for this at all. I was initially exposed to this and got some ideas from this from Harshdeep. In his course, I believe he covered this with like how to build a Shopify app, and then I had read about a little bit more about it and wanted to put this into practice because the idea was, for instance, on let's say for orders, like you're wanting to like get all these orders kind of type thing, and you need to update some specific data. Well, I don't want every single order kind of type thing coming through because especially if you get into a plus shop, you've got tons and tons of orders. So what I was using at the time was instances where the idea would be maybe some stores would have some rental products and some like full-time sale products or whatever kind of type thing. And I would tag these orders then with an attribute, custom attribute, line item property. We've got so many different names for the same thing, but that's how it goes sometimes. And so I would filter based on the custom attribute. Like I don't want order data kind of type thing unless I have this kind of type thing. So I
So where do
believe
you
that
define that?
I'm what's that? I'm
Where
sorry.
do sorry, where do you define that filter at?
Oh, that is a great question. Off the top of my head, I don't recall kind of type
I'm
thing.
just curious, is it something you set up on the Shopify end so that it only sends you the things you're
No,
interested in? Or do you filter it in your app immediately, like
yeah,
for
you
Jet?
filter yeah, you filter in the app. At least if gosh, if I remember correctly, and now I'm like, man, I'm probably like butchering this.
It's okay. And for those of you listening, we don't know everything. Sorry. This
Yeah,
is
we
how
don't
we
know
learn
everything.
together.
So this is yeah, okay. So it is just like yeah, it's just in your TOML.
Oh,
Or
okay. So you do. Okay. So what I'm saying is like it's filtered before it leaves Shopify to come to your app. It's not like you have to ingest everything and then you kick out the stuff you don't want
correct.
and then like, okay, that's
Yes.
perfect. I'll do that. Thanks. Problem solved.
Glad I could fumble my way through part of that to help a little bit. So
I'll just be honest. The webhook section of that TOML file and I did not get along early on in the app development. I was confused about how that was supposed to work. I had a bunch of
no, I
trouble
mean
with
I
it.
get that. That's one of the reasons why like Harshdeep's boilerplate is really really great. So I'll say that. I don't even remember. I think he's maintained still a boilerplate. I don't know if the course is still up anymore, kind of type
I
thing,
think
because
it took it
he's at
down.
Shopify now. He's full time Shopify folk.
He's
Uh,
arrived.
but it was very helpful to see because he's got this cool thing. I mean, like you run a command and it generates the TOML for you, which
Yeah.
is really really handy for when you're someone like me who's just like trying to fumble their way through this and eventually they're just like throwing their hands up and like I'm just gonna use Gadget anyway. So
Well, that might be, man. It could be a good segue back to you. Here we
uh,
are.
okay, well yeah, we can talk a little bit about that or just like my experience with that, and then you
Yeah.
can. Did you ever pop open a project for Gadget? Have you tested this out at
Not
all?
recently. I had in the past and gave up. Not because
So,
Gadget's bad.
so
Just
since talking to Muhammad, I've popped on, played around with it, made great progress.
thank you.
Another guy that we need to pop on or have on here that we actually nailed down a date is Alex Abbott to talk about Desi because they
Yes.
integrate really well with Desi as well. And so between those two things has really helped me as a front end dev trying to get some stuff done. Just feel very productive. So, and like as far as like some of the AI stuff, we can get into more of the AI stuff. I feel like here in a little bit we wanted to kind of talk about that too. But their AI is very very good
Oh, good.
for that. So like he had been talking about it being just like very specifically trained on um their entire setup and their stack or whatever instead of like being like this kind of like generalist or whatever. It does a very very good job. So have really enjoyed that. I got to hop on a call, hop on a call with Franco too. He's over their partnerships kind of type thing because I
Yeah.
was really interested um, in looking into this because like doing client work, right? So I'm like researching this for a public app, but also like I really like this idea of having something I could hand off to clients for things where they want a quick app spun up or whatever,
Yeah.
but then just hand this off and then build in functionalities they need kind of type thing. And so Gadget allows you to do that too, where they're running the hosting, they're doing all this other stuff, and then you can just hand it to the client and they take care of the bill. Like so, you could keep it yourself too and like charge a premium up and over or something like that or whatever. But that sounds like a nightmare to me. Every time I talk to somebody about that, so I like the idea of being able to do this for client projects as well. So that was one of the big reasons too. I was really interested in trying to kick the tires
So you feel
more
like you're starting to
diligently.
get the mental model of how Gadget's supposed to work?
Yeah, well, I know I had messaged you about this too. I feel so dumb because I'd spent a bunch of time initially where I couldn't figure out how to get it working locally. Like so they have a CLI. Like the long and short of it is they have a CLI, but did not see the CLI. I wasn't doing a good enough job reading the docs because it's there. I stumbled upon it finally in a YouTube video where somebody mentioned the CLI, and then I found it everywhere. I'm like, why did I miss this? Like, it was like right in front of me, but I was like, initially not. I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that, but I was using Gadget in just the online editor, and I was like, why does anybody use this at all? This is brutal to work with. And it's just because I've gotten so used to like the local setup and like my things are set up the way that I like to use them. And so using the online editor was, I mean, it didn't even have like support for like undo, like, you know, like Command Z or whatever. Like I wrote something real quick, and I'm so used to just like writing something really fast, saving it, checking to see if it works. If it doesn't, like pulling it back out and doing something else, or just dropping that in for like, you know, to find stuff, and it didn't support that. And so I was like, well, shoot, like, you know, now I've got to put all that stuff back in. And so, anyways, I found the CLI. Their CLI is very good. As a, like, coming from different worlds, I forget like Shopify is kind of my bar for stuff anymore because I only work in Shopify. So like how the CLI works and those sorts of things. But their CLI is very, very good. Constantly pulls changes. If you've got stuff in the online editor, like if you're using the AI to help generate some stuff for you while you're running the CLI, like it pulls those in automatically to your local as well. So like if the AI spits stuff out to the online editor, cool, but like it automatically pulls it into your local like immediately. It's very, very good. Just make sure you throw everything on Git. They don't obviously like serve that up like first party for you kind of type thing. Like you're responsible for that, and that's fine. But it's so good. I was really impressed with it. I know we've both talked about like the difficulty of like tunnels and stuff too, right? Like to Cloudflare and Grok and just trying to make stuff work. But it is just so nice just to be able to spin it up and like easily connects to the dev shop. You can see it's very good. It's very, very good. So big
I'm
fan.
glad you had a good experience with it. It really makes me wonder if I made the right choice, but I'll have to circle back around and play this sometime. Here's what it came down to for me when I was looking into it in the past is one,
Hmm.
I didn't want to have to like relearn a whole new paradigm is what it felt
Yes.
like, right? Because I was my day in and day out was still in the Rails world. And so like this is what I
Right.
do 24/7. Like I don't want to have to think about two things. And
No.
two is I just really like programming in Ruby. Like Rails aside, like I just really like Ruby. And so the fact that it's
Yeah.
JavaScript, I was like, you know how I feel about JavaScript.
Yeah. I mean
But
that makes total sense.
there's all this stuff it does for you and that you're probably learning now that I hear about that would be so nice not to think about, like all the infra stuff, even the webhook stuff, like just the info to handling that, not having to worry about whether you have that set up correctly. Um, so I do wonder if I made the right choice.
Well, as far as the wrong choice, you know, good, bad, and indifferent. I don't think that there is a wrong choice to be made here. Like right or wrong or whatever. Like everything's going to come with its own sets of pros and cons and trade-offs. And so, for someone in my position who I'm trying to work on an app, and then I'm also trying to work on client work on a regular basis as well. This is great. You know, it solves a lot of use cases. It helps me be more productive. And again, like I don't think it's feasible anytime soon that I'm going to stop doing services. And so being able to first expand services while building a product, and then kind of eventually maybe transitioning more one way or another after I do that, maybe I find I really enjoy spinning up apps, you know, for clients kind of type thing and just
Yeah.
using Gadget for that. Maybe I find I just really enjoy working on the apps instead, and I'd rather just do that. Like it allows a lot more flexibility to kind of like, you know, go the way that you want to go. And I think there's obviously something to be said for, you know, if you get to a point where the app is being um, very, very successful or something like this or what have you, and like you want to cut costs, like you can always build it later. Like you've proven the point that it's profitable and it's successful. Like use the time to build it out and pull it off of Gadget, and then you know you can come back and use Gadget for your next project, kind of type thing. So that's how I'm hearing some people are using it too, like just to kind of
Hmm.
spin up quick apps, prove a proof of concept, see if they can get a foothold in a specific niche or vertical or whatever. And then if it doesn't, that's okay because they've invested half the time that they would have taken to spin up another app.
Well, tell me more about this pull off of Gadget thing, because like I remember way back in our very first interview with Mo, it was one of the big points that I raised was the vendor
Hmm.
lock-in thing, right? Like people hate that, which
Yeah,
whether we realize it or not, we do it every time we choose a framework or a library, essentially, right? But
100%.
what is like, is there a process for getting off of Gadget if you want to take the app somewhere else, or do you just have to rewrite it?
I mean, I don't know that there is a process,
Okay,
right? But like, you've got all your front end. It's JavaScript, so like you just pull it, you hook it up to another backend, eventually. But you're obviously
right.
responsible for that. You're gonna have to do all the migrations and all this other mess or what have you to move it where you need to. But like, yeah, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be a process, but it's just one of those things. I don't.
Okay.
It's just like anything else. Like if you wrote a whole app in Ruby, and you decided for some reason that you've converted over to Node now, and you're wanting to go all in on JavaScript, like you could do it. Like it's going to be a pain. I think
I
migrating
couldn't
off
do
it's
it.
going to be a pain. It doesn't behoove them at all to like have a one stop shop export button for you to exit
No, but
Gadget,
I
right?
guess I wasn't sure like when you code something substantial in Gadget. Like I said, I've only played with it surface level. Like, is it so intertwined with the way Gadget works that like you'd basically have to rewrite it, or is the logic pretty self-contained where you could be like, well, I need to set up the database and all that kind of stuff, but like basically have all my classes or I have all my code that I can just take over.
Yeah, you'd have to replace, in addition to the back end and everything, or whatever, like you'd have to replace like components and things like that, like if you're relying on that. But I feel like you could also build it in a way that like you didn't have to as much.
Sure.
So yeah, I think it's a pick your poison kind of type thing as far as, and for me, like that's the my issue, and that's what this all comes back to is I've so desperately wanted to like I'm not a real developer until I do this or blah 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 kind of type thing coming, and it's coming from a social worker to like being a developer and whatever. And at the end of the day, it's more about the thing that is tough is time, right? And so if this helps me cut down on the time that I'm going to have to learn something else or do this, that, or the other, I can always do that stuff later. Because my biggest thing right now is just saying no to services, which is like yes money right now to like maybe money later with an app, a product and stuff that you create or whatever. It's a really hard mental shift for me. So
Yeah.
like every time I think I've carved out time, I end up saying yes to another project or something like that. Then that time is gone, and so I am my own worst enemy here.
Yes, I understand.
Yep.
Um, well, speaking of time almost gone, we're getting a little long in the tooth. I want to really hear about the Shopify stuff you've been doing, so let's keep you going. In fact, of all the things on your list, we've covered barely any of it.
Oh yeah. Well, that's pretty normal for me, right? Though. So no, there were just a handful of things I know we wanted to talk about. Well, we talked a little bit about the AI stuff. I want to talk about the AI stuff, and then we'll get to the Shopify stuff. And because this is
Okay.
Shopify, this is Liquid Weekly, this is the Shopify podcast, So, but so AI, I know we talked about this, and you had wanted to like hear a little bit more about Claude Code though too. So
Yeah.
Claude Code recently came out with, I don't know if it's recent or whatever. I'm only just discovering that they came out with this like plan mode. So when you're in Claude Code, you can shift between different modes. So you're in your terminal and you can hit Shift Tab. It'll go to like I think auto accept edits or something like that on, and then another Shift Tab, and then you're into this plan mode. In plan
Hmm.
mode, I've really been enjoying everything is now starting in plan mode for me, unless it's like something super super simple and basic. But so plan mode basically it doesn't do any commits, it doesn't do any kind of like edits, it doesn't try to give you like code or anything like this or whatever. It's literally just like doing a little bit of back and forth to like fully spec out and understand the project before it starts trying to build stuff. And I have found this to be very good and very helpful when it comes to building stuff right now. And so the nice thing is like instead of like the tough start, like when you're in agent mode and like cursor or something like this, for example, right? Or even Cloud Code without this plan mode on, is you get into this back and forth, and at some point, like the AI gets some kind of context or some kind of understanding about something off a little bit. And if you're not careful, it starts going down that rabbit hole, right? Versus when you're in plan mode, like you get to like refine and really spec this out before it starts doing anything. And so I have found that to be like the quality of the output has been much, much better. It's definitely closer to this concept, or like every time I hear someone say, "Oh, I just one-shotted this or whatever with AI," I'm like, I've never one-shotted anything with AI, man. Like it's even like something as simple as like make this button more round. It always is like trying to
Sure.
do something random. Like it gets you 80% of the way and you're responsible for that last 20. But it definitely gets you closer. This plan will get you closer to the one-shotting it. In that context. So it's obviously not a true one shot, but it's definitely closer to like, hey, like I am making sure you understand this fully. And I'll share. I saw a YouTube video of this that I shared with a couple of people, and I thought was really good. So we'll put that in the show notes. I think it was very helpful to kind of understand how that works.
Okay.
But so it does a great job with this. Cloud Code I found to be very good. I recently did a little too after Muhammad had talked last time we had him on about Gemini being pretty good. I actually tested out Gemini CLI. I don't know if you've touched that at all. So if you do have a Google Workspace
Oh,
account, like you can get access to Gemini. I don't know like how much it is otherwise or whatever, but as far as cost, it is supposed to be cheaper than some of these other models too. And so I actually spent a little bit of time recently. We can segue here in a little bit. With the theme store had a major update. We can talk about that here in a minute. So I was updating shopinfo.app. Okay.
yes. You're
And the theme detector tool. So I've got a database of all the themes in the Shopify theme store. Obviously they had this huge update that not broke, but it made it seem like it was broken. Because it's just like, oh, like you're tracking 290 themes. That's great. The theme store says there's 864 now. Like, what the heck is your problem, man? It's like, okay. So had to go through, do all these updates. I used AI extensively for this. It's great because it's a Rails app, and I'm not a Rails developer. I know a lot of very talented Rails developers, but just me and Claude Code and stuff like that, we're just doing the best we can sometimes. And so, as far as the funny thing that I did was I kind of got through all these updates, and then I was like, all right, I want to improve the SEO for this. Okay, and I've got ideas on like what I should be doing, but like I want to see how well AI does with this series of prompts. And so it was really interesting though, because I did Claude Code in plan mode, did this whole thing, and it gave me a lot of really great suggestions. It made a whole bunch of updates. I think for the most part they're a lot better. Um, it missed a couple of things, and I intentionally didn't correct it because I wanted to see. Then I ran Gemini and I did the same command, like copied and pasted it, just to see what it would do. And so it was neat because Gemini actually like corrected a couple of the things that I knew were incorrect as well, which was very helpful. And then it also made some really good, insightful thoughts about how to like better present some information. So I kind of had them like battle it out, like, hey, like, you're doing the implementation, then you check your work kind of type thing. So it was kind of interesting. It's really neat to have like multiple tabs up like with these CLI tools, just rocking them out. So big fan of that.
I love
But
the
yeah,
bots. I love it.
have you tried Claude Code yet?
No, not yet. I've been primarily driving Cursor and trying to get familiar with that and using it, and it's been pretty good.
Yes, Cursor is good. I think
But
Cursor was a
Cloud
huge
Code's
step
on
up
my
from
list.
Copilot.
Oh yeah,
Cloud
for
Code's
sure.
on your list. Well, you should try Gemini if you haven't yet. I think it's pretty decent. Um,
I've hooked into the API with some, so I have a homegrown tool that I use for my
okay,
newsletter curation, and I had done
very
some
cool.
experiments with it a few months ago, to like do summaries, generate keyword listings like that, and it was really bad. So maybe it's gotten better since then, but it was
Yeah,
sending
it's
back a bunch of
supposedly made
nonsense.
leaps and bounds here in the last like month or two. So I don't know how long ago that was that you initially played around with that. But it
Gotcha.
supposedly has made some. I had not touched it previously because I heard so many people say it was terrible. Actually, Muhammad saying that was the very first time I was like, okay, I'll give Gemini a shot again, kind of type thing. So, and I don't use. It's definitely not my main driver. Cloud Code's my main driver. I use Cursor the way that I've been referring to with like how I'm using these tools. It's more like Claude Code is what I'm building with, and then Cursor is kind of what I'm just chatting with. So like if I need to understand something quickly in context, I'll ask Cursor about it or whatever kind of type thing. I don't do the tabbing. I still don't like it. I've tried turning it on a couple of times. I still hate it. And so, um, I don't know, probably just a skills issue on my end. Maybe my brain doesn't work quite that fast. I just think it's like really annoying to have it keep popping up and it's not accurate enough for me. So,
Yeah.
um,
Have you done Codex or the new kid on the block, Kiro, yet?
oh man, I want to try Kiro. I actually just watched a video this morning, demoing it, and Was it Josiah Hubbard from Helium? He had posted about kind of like vibe coding, this real quick
Oh,
like
really?
uh I think it was an online store menu uh tool, kind of like a migrator to like migrate like a menu from one store to the other kind of type thing or whatever. So you can copy those, you can duplicate them now, which is awesome, like directly in the admin, but you can't necessarily like take this whole menu and move it from one shop to the other, which is helpful if you have, you know, like a test, like a dev store that you want to run, or if you've got multiple shops in a plus org that you want to like kind of like mimic the same layout rather than like building these like really complex menus over again. You can just migrate it from one shop to the other. And we'll link that up too, because obviously anything from Josiah is really cool. But he had mentioned using this, and I was like, oh man, like I really need to test this out. So it looks really good.
I hear they put on a wait list on it, but I did get a download, so if
Oh
you
man,
want
they did
it.
put it on a wait list.
Well, that's what I heard yesterday. I think they're having capacity issues because it grew so quick.
Oh yeah, join waitlist. Gosh dang. Are
Well,
they
I
just doing this to
have the
get my email?
binary, Taylor.
Are they just doing this to get my email?
Could offer it to you for a price.
Ooh.
See if it lets me log in or not.
Let's see. Start notifying customers in batches in the coming days. Why are you implementing? Oh, because they're seeing unprecedented demand. I feel like you're
Yes.
creating demand because I've only talked to a handful of devs who even know what this is. So, whatever.
Oh, I'm so in, dude.
Colin
She
Fetter
jealous?
had like suggested checking it out or whatever, and I should have done it from the second that he said something. Dang it. Oh, Colin is trying to keep me cutting edge,
Oh,
and I
Taylor, it's
failed.
so beautiful. I'm looking at it right now. Oh my
You're just the
goodness, you're
worst.
missing out.
The
Oh,
worst.
I just
How
finished
dare
the
you?
app. Wow, that was quick.
So fast, so fast. So anyway, check out Kira.dev. We'll put the link to the show notes that Josiah had vibe coded a Shopify menu migrator. So as well. So big fan of Josiah. Big fan of all this other stuff. I don't know that I'm a big fan of the term vibe coding, but you know, it is what it is. They well, and say I know specifically. So when you go into it, right, like you have these two options. You can vibe code or spec code. Like you kind of like choose your path on like which way you want to go. And I think spec is like the plan mode in Cloud Code.
Okay,
Maybe I don't know.
it's a lot. It's a lot. See, too much to learn. I can't. Like, it's gonna be a.
Yeah, it's a lot to learn. Well, so more accessible AI tools since we're getting long here, and I want to make sure to talk about these because I thought this was such a good use case. Talking about Shopify work and all this other stuff. So Sidekick's actually getting pretty good, man. Like I'm starting to like actually use it for stuff, and it's pretty neat. So the other day, Sidekick and Shopify admin, we had this issue. The shop had this agency built website. They were super unhappy with it, and I'm just doing a bunch of cleanup on stuff as it comes in now, kind of type thing, right? And it was one of those shops where so Alpine JS is a little lightweight JavaScript library that is great. But like, I don't know, when people use it, sometimes they try to use it for all the things. Like JavaScript is amazing and awesome. I'm a JavaScript fan, but it is not the answer for absolutely everything. Like, stop. This is the reason why people like Karl don't like JavaScript, is because people try to shoehorn
Well,
JavaScript into everything.
not
And
the
so,
reason, but yeah.
yeah, it's a reason. So, anyways, the way that they did the in stock thing was completely wonky, and you get this like bad flash of like in stock and out of stock every single time you select a variant, all this other stuff or whatever, just because like they just the way it was set up was not ideal. And so moved over to liquid first rendering and then not checking and updating with JavaScript with Alpine unless someone clicks on a variant, right? Like this is how you should be doing this, right? It's better for performance, it's going to look better, everything. And so when I needed to test this, I needed to test it on a product that had in stock and out of stock variants. Now, this store has tens of thousands of products, and it's not easy to go in there and find. Not only, because some stuff they're like drop shipping or whatever kind of type thing, and so it's not always easy to find stuff that they're selling when out of stock still, even if the inventory is like being tracked or whatever. And so I asked Grok, not Grok, I'm sorry, Sidekick. Grok is in my notes for my next thing. I asked Sidekick like, hey, I'm working on this feature. I need a product that has variants that are in stock and out of stock and are not set to continue selling when out of stock. So Sidekick goes through and finds me the perfect product for this. Like, and instead of me spending anywhere from 10 minutes to 10 to 30 minutes just to find like a product to test accurately without me actually like, because you can't always just screw with their inventory because it's hooked up to a third party, fulfillment kind of type thing or whatever. And like if it messes with that, then they've got other software that does predictive modeling, in which case they know to order more stuff. And so like you can't just go in and like, oh, let me just change this. Um, could do it on a dev store, but like, whatever.
That's super useful.
But yeah, so I asked Sidekick, gave me the perfect product. It was awesome. Super, super awesome use case. So like ask Sidekick for stuff like that you used to manually spend time using. Like it is good. It is great for that stuff. And then the other cool thing as well, Grok. Actually, so Grok has just this like, so it's in Twitter, right? Like Grok has this thing, but you can also go to just like Grok's website. Like it's just this AI like tool that you can mess with. You can sign in and it lets you do a handful of things for free. But they have these things called tasks. So Tosh in SDA like recommended using tasks, and I was like, this is awesome, and kind of gave this example of like, you can have it send you summaries and different things like this or whatever. But one of the things that I used Grok for was I had seen some issues, and I could not remember where I had seen it. I didn't remember who it was from, but I had seen some issues where there were problems with a spike in fraudulent orders on Shopify's like, back and forth there of like,
Yeah.
hey, this order's fraudulent or whatever kind of type thing. It was typically associated with Shop Pay. And so I could not recall when this happened, but I was trying to rack my brain on when I saw this because I had a merchant reach out to say, hey, like we all of a sudden had this big spike in fraudulent orders being detected. Does anybody like this doesn't look right? Like anybody have any idea what's going on? And I was like, oh, I remember I saw that, but I have no idea who posted about it. And I asked Grok and it found the tweets for me. Like
Oh
there
wow.
were a handful of like relatively high profile shops that were like, hey, like we saw this issue. Anybody know what's going on? And Shopify even from their account acknowledged the problem and that it was something that was fixed. And so I was able to just like link the merchant directly to, hey, this was a problem. Here was the time frame. If we're still within that, like we're okay. It's been fixed kind of type thing. So it was super useful for that.
Now,
So
you probably don't know this off the top of your head, but you pay for whatever level of X, like you
yes.
get the blue check market. Do you know is Grok limited based on your plan? Because I'm still just a freebie
Yeah. So as
user.
far as um the just website, like grok.ai or whatever it is, we'll put it in the show notes here. That you can do like 2 tasks for free. I think like that. You can pay for it if you want to or whatever. I have no idea what the pricing is for that. I'm not really interested in looking for that. Um, with Grok like integrated into Twitter, like I have access to that in Twitter. Do you as a free user still too?
I think so. It shows up. I'm not know if there's
Okay.
different capabilities. I honestly didn't know it was a separate AI like web page. I thought it was only
Yeah,
built
they've
into
got their
Twitter.
whole thing now. So some of these tools you can kind of piecemeal them together. Another good free tool, not specific to this or what have you, but if you just want to play around with some other AI stuff, is Raycast has their own AI. They bring in a bunch of LLMs and stuff like this too, that you can access for free. So, I'm paying for a lot of tools for AI, but there's also a lot of free tools out there. So like
Yeah.
definitely explore
Karl.
those. As well. But yeah, Sidekick and Grok, those were both like my like, oh sweet, this is awesome kind of type things that were very, very helpful that I was not expecting relatively recently as well. So
That's
big
amazing.
fan of that stuff.
But here's the conundrum, right? Like I could literally spend my entire workday today looking at these different tools and get nothing
Really
done.
could. Really
So what am
could.
I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Anyway.
Choose your hard. Spend a little time. I was talking to someone in SDA that had talked about this too, that they actually have that built into kind of like in their contracts of like they do like kind of like this like research or R&D time kind of type thing to like stay up to date on everything or whatever. And I was like, man, like I need to figure that mess out. So I've always just like kind of taken that on. So I think it depends on like how you work, like with how you set up your contracts with people. I'm more of like a fractional, I'm only working so many hours for these kinds of things or whatever, but I think they're more of like a full-time consulting kind of
Sure.
type thing. They have like larger kind of type engagements, but depends. So yeah, it's hard to stay up to date on all this stuff. It moves so
It is.
fast. So,
Now, I sense we're getting near the change log, but is there anything else you want to make sure we covered before that?
oh man, that's quick. Probably just
We
real
can do
quick plugs. I know. Yeah, like
we can do
I
two
real quick
episodes if you
plugs.
want, Taylor.
We probably should. Are you telling me to like save it?
No, no, if you I just want you to not feel like rushed.
Oh yeah.
You've got
So
good things to share.
Yeah, we probably should because I'm gonna be like occupied here in a little bit. We might have to do another couple of episodes because we've got some big stuff still yet. So, um, what do you think? We're about an hour here, so it probably would be good to like break this up into other episodes. You've got some stuff too to talk about still yet, so
I
I don't want to
do.
monopolize time either. So,
Oh. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and move on to the changelog.
all right, we'll move on. We'll move on. So, changelog, couple of real quick call outs just as far as like helpful information. Server pixels. So added a new subtotal price to checkout events. That's got to be handy. So the subtotal price is sum of all line item prices after applying product and order level discounts. So if you need that information for whatever, um, you know, pixels are the way to go for all the things anymore. They're just going to continue investing in that space. So I think that's a good thing. We do have an action required for a POS UI extensions update for July 2025. They've made a whole bunch of changes, including removing deprecated formats text field component, yada, yada, yada. So pay attention to that just because it's an action required. So if you're doing the POS UI extensions or whatever, that's something you should be aware of. There's also a new cookie that's no longer going to be set. So the underscore AB cookie is no longer going to be set to enable and disable the preview var, which I didn't pay attention to this too much. I don't know if other app devs are using this as well, kind of type thing, if they're relying on this cookie for some sort of functionality kind of type thing. You can hide the preview bar just by appending like PB, preview bar equals 0 or 1, and it'll hide or show it kind of type thing or whatever. So that's what I've always used. I've never relied on cookies, but I'm also not an app dev. So
That kind of stuff always makes you wonder, like, what was the technical decision that necessitated that? It seems so random.
I don't know. Like, what's that for?
Yeah. Seems like such a small little change. Like, why now? I'm sure there's a reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Um, so yeah, I don't know what the use case would be where someone would be um like using this maybe in an app or something like that, like to like detect, but heads up. Oh, this big rollout, we'll save this big rollout or whatever for the next change because like I feel like we have a lot of stuff to talk about with it. So the theme store had some major updates. I alluded to this earlier. We wanted to talk about it, but I'm too chatty and we didn't make it that far. Another one though that is in the changelog that if you've not seen, kind of like sparking a lot of contentious back and forth, the App Store reviews will now move between published and archive states depending on the state of the store, the merchant's plan. So if the merchant
Hmm.
store closes, the reviews that they left will be archived, and if it opens up again, the reviews will go back up. So it's gonna be this back and forth of this happening kind of type thing here. So I don't know. Devs have mixed feelings about this, whether or not that's fair, that's valid. Um, from my position, I think they're trying to combat this issue where we had like a lot of review farming of a handful of quote unquote people were doing services by like running just like some run of the mill shop kind of type thing, but then also like paying to get like reviews and stuff like this or what have you. So I don't know. I understand from like larger, more established apps the concern over this because they've
Sure.
outlasted all these other shops, right? Or what have you. Also feel like it kind of communicates an unfair like sense of responsibility, right? To like apps of like you should have kept the store alive kind of type thing. I don't know because like I don't know that it makes it any more of as valid. Like if somebody had an app that they used for like 4 years and it just happened to go out of business or maybe they got acquired and then their brand got spun down or something like this or whatever, that the app was very
Yeah.
helpful in that time frame and then that review would become archived just because the store isn't active anymore. So I don't know how fair that is. Kind of type thing or whatever. My thought was maybe they should have some kind of like a legacy historical rating, like of, hey, this was a legit shop. It reaches a certain status. Like it's not going to happen to these shops. Maybe that's the plan and this is just the first stepping stone. I don't know. So we'll see.
I like to think they put a lot of thought into this. I'm sure there's more around this than we know, but yeah, it's strange.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was a lot of thought put into it. You know that there has to be, and we just see like the very short, like this is like the first step of many kind of type things.
Right.
They did the same thing with the review purge, right? That was a huge like just let's just like wipe the slate clean here kind of type thing. So it'll be interesting to see how this evolves. We'll just have to wait and see kind of what that looks like.
Yes, we
But yeah,
will.
that's the changelog, Carl.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, I had more, but we're skipping if we're gonna like record another episode here. So
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Taylor.
yeah,
Well, it's time now for the third half of our show, my personal favorite pick of the week.
what you
So
got?
I'm going.
I've been talking, so we get to talk. We get to talk about. Did I put this right? You had mentioned this in Slack, and so I added it to the show notes. But I'm like,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know
go to
what this is.
Aprons. Okay, so
I held off on Googling it too, just because I wanted you to tell me what this is.
my pick is something called gutter aprons. I'm alluding back now to what I shared at the beginning, which was how I saw the water coming down and how it was trying to destroy my home. So apparently, when we had that work done a few years ago and added on um, to the living room, when they put the roof and the gutters on, a typical roof assembly. Let me see if I can share this or not. I probably can't share that. It has something called a straight or sorry, a drip edge goes on to the roof and it overhangs the fascia. And the gutter is supposed to go up under that, like this. So the
Hmm.
gutter like that. Great diagrams. So the water comes down, hits that drip edge, and then goes into the gutter. Well, on my particular home, I found this when I went up to explore because what I was seeing was that during rain, like water was coming down between the gutter and the fascia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so the drip edge got put behind this. Sorry, I'm hearing a lot of echo on your end. Do you have your external speakers on, do you?
Yeah, my headphones died while we were
Oh,
talking. Let me see if I can't move these over. Either that or I'm gonna mute my mic.
yeah, that could work too. Because this is very important. Echo. I was wondering what was happening because I kept hearing myself like what's going on. Anyway, so you'll see here the edge of my shingle, and then behind it you'll see the protruding edge of the drip edge. If you know what a drip edge looks like, Google it real quick. It just kind of sticks out from the roof and then bends back down under. And then there's a little leg that's supposed to kick out over the gutter, which is this kind of greenish looking part here. But because they put this aluminum trim over the fascia on top of the drip edge, and they bent the top edge out, they didn't even trim it. So now the rain would hit this top edge, this white part here, and it would basically drip down the surface of that. Behind the gutter, there's a little gap back here you can't really see, and then fall to the ground. Which over time is bad because it means there's more water contacting your fascia board, which it could wick back up in there and potentially rot it. And it also adds more water on the foundation. So what I did, well, I didn't bring a picture of this, is I basically bent some sheet metal and installed what are called gutter aprons. And you can get these yourself from the store, or you can make them yourself, which is what I did. So let me see if I can share this picture real quick. I
I
came
really like that you
prepared.
even had like the visuals all set up.
Oh
So
yeah, because
good.
I was trying to figure out how this was working. All right, so here is what I've been working on. So you can see this white stuff protruding over the gutter now. That's the apron
Okay.
that I fabricated. And it's just a piece of aluminum trim that I bent and it slides up under the first course of shingles. So now the water comes off the shingles, hits this, drips down here, and then falls into the gutter as opposed to going up, back, and behind the edge. So you can see the right hand side of that where it still hasn't been installed, or it might do that. So
Nice.
that's what gutter aprons are. Yeah. So got them in. I don't have a metal brake, so it was a little touch and go there, trying to get that in the right shape. But I think I got it finally, and
It looks
now I'm ready
good.
for the next door. Yeah, yeah. House is
I'll
made.
have to take a look at this. I feel like I'm learning all these homeowner tips from you of things that like I should probably be paying attention to. But you know, I just let that stuff happen. So
Maybe we should just switch from Shopify to home improvement. Um,
there we
my
go.
final pick of the week, I'm taking two, is I
Oh, you've
looked it
got
up.
two?
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure I found it. I think that show I was alluding to earlier, it was called The Tomorrow People.
The Tomorrow
I'm good.
People.
I'm gonna need to double
I'm very
check,
excited for
but
this. I'm gonna check this out.
yeah, I'll put it in Slack so you can link it in the show notes. There it is.
Okay,
All right,
perfect.
on to you,
Thank you.
Taylor.
On to me. So I did switch to the headphones, so hopefully this sounds better now. My headphones died. I was not anticipating that. So my pick of the week is going to be the book I Am Legend. So the original book was written quite some time ago. I was only familiar with the movie, and I recently trying to get back into reading. I picked up a new Kindle to replace my wife's Kindle. like just stopped working, and so she's been using mine, and I've just yeah, I know. Like, so I stopped reading in that point in time, kind of type thing, because I was just like, she's using it or whatever
Marriage
kind
is
of
the
type thing.
worst.
And yeah, I know. I just she takes all my good stuff, And so I, anyways, they had great prices for the Kindles as they usually do in Prime Day, and picked up a new Kindle. She got her new Kindle, and I took mine back, and so I've been reading again for pleasure. I usually I obviously like read and consume a lot of information and resources and stuff like this or whatever, but don't necessarily like read for pleasure as often as I used to, and I miss that. So I've seen the movie I Am Legend. I really liked it.
You
Great
like that
movie.
movie? That movie's terrible. It's so
That movie's
painful.
great. Stop. It's
It's
awesome.
so hard to watch.
It's great. And so I did not realize it was based off of a book. And this book actually like has helped apparently like fuel a lot of other like spinoffs and different things and what have you. So it's a good book. It's a very easy, pretty short read, but pretty fun. So maybe not fun's the right word or whatever, but it was a good read. So I would check that out if you're looking for a good read. It's kind of excited me to get back into reading again for fun instead of just watching TV mindlessly.
Hey,
So check it
hey,
out.
I read too.
Oh, I was referring to me. Like that's usually what
Oh,
we do to
okay.
wind down before going to bed. So like, watch a couple of shows or something, and then just like I don't know. I always feel better if I'm like reading. I feel like it's still fun
Yes.
and enjoyable if it's a good book. So.
Sit there with your cup of tea, reading your book. I'm an intellectual now.
Not with tea. I'll do decaf coffee. I still can't get into tea. It's just, yeah,
Oh, it's
it's just
gross.
what it is. I know. I
Sorry, all you
try.
tea
I try.
drinkers out there. I brought
Yeah,
this up at
sorry.
Editions, and people are asking me all kinds of questions around how I prepared it, which I was not able to answer. And so I think there might be something we're missing, Taylor. But
I
yeah,
can tell you how I
I'm with you.
prepare it. Just like how it reads on the package, man. Like you heat up some water, you drop the little bag in for like 4 minutes or something, and then you drink it. Like what else could there be to the process? What are we missing?
Everything.
I just always think of Ted Lasso when he's like the tea thing is a joke, right? Like y'all are just messing with everybody. You don't really like this.
That's right.
It's like this is just like a whole country playing a joke on people. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel about tea. But
Well, speaking of playing a joke on people, hey, you wasted another perfectly good hour listening to the Liquid Weekly podcast. Thanks for
gotcha.
joining us. I hope you learned something useful. And if you need help with your gutters, give me a call. Taylor, good to see you. See you in the next one.
All right. Bye.
Happy hacking. Bye.